Friday, May 11th, and this week I read A Good Night for Ghosts, The Magic Treehouse, book number 42. The series is by Mary Pope Osborne, and I absolutely loved this series as a kid. It was my first actual book series I'd ever read, and they follow the adventures of Jack and Annie, two young kids who have a magic treehouse. They go into it and it transports them to a different place in history. And with Jack and Annie, I learned about Pompeii and pirates and other things in history that don't start with P's that I cannot exactly remember at the moment. And these books were my first foray into fantasy and my first foray into historical literature and my first foray into reading for fun and not reading because I had to learn how to read. I still remember running to the store to pick up the next one, the newest one, and I think I would probably still be reading these books unabashedly and obsessively, but there are not so many because says 42, but there are way more than 42, and they have companion books, and I love them so much. These books were my Harry Potter before I read Harry Potter. They were such a big part of my life growing up. And these books present one of my favorite things about children's literature, which is that children's literature is about exploring the world and discovering it. And when people write for adults, they understand that adults have pretty much figured out the world that they're going to inhabit, whereas when writing for children, authors realize that they don't. And so I think you just get a much more humanistic experience reading a children's book. And I think that you get a much better picture of the world, which is very strange because you'd expect adults to have a grasp of the world, but I think in admitting that we don't quite understand what's going on around us, we understand it a bit more. So Sarah, I will see you tomorrow, and Bookfighters, have a great weekend.